Security cameras were built to catch burglars and monitor areas, but sometimes they pick up things nobody has an explanation for. Strange humanoids in public areas, mysterious creatures outside homes, and creepy cryptids never seen before. The footage in this video was captured on CCTV across America, and none of it has ever been explained. A bedroom camera caught something moving through the room while the occupant slept, and the shape of it is what made this footage spread so fast online. Low to the ground, pale, and moving on all fours with long limbs that bent at wrong angles, it matched almost exactly what people who claim to have encountered the rake have described for years. It crept toward the bed, got close enough to make anyone watching deeply uncomfortable, and then it was simply gone. The camera never picked it up leaving. It was there, and then it wasn't. Deranged humanoid. A strange security clip surfaced showing a man acting completely out of control. His voice twisted into several tones at once, echoing like something unnatural was inside him. People argued whether it was real possession or just a breakdown, but one detail still unsettles everyone. Not long after the video spread online, locals claimed the man disappeared. His house stood empty, abandoned overnight, no trace of him left behind, as if he had simply slipped out of this world. Wall crawler. A security camera outside a residential home captured something that made the owners pack their bags and leave that same night. The footage showed a woman appearing from the side of the house, barefoot, with her hair hanging loose, and then she did something that made no sense at all. She started scaling the wall vertically with her bare hands and feet, knocking flower pots off the ledge as she crawled her way to the top. No explanation was ever given, and the owners reportedly never moved back in. Southwoods crawler. CCTV footage pulled from a property labeled Southwoods, time-stamped January 12, 2026, at just after 8 p.m. in the evening, showed a creature emerging from the tree line and approaching a wooden structure in a clearing. The figure was pale, thin, and moved on all fours as it crawled toward the structure and began inspecting it. Then it stood upright on two legs, and that's where it got strange. It walked away into the woods in an unsteady, staggered motion, like something that hadn't quite figured out how legs were supposed to work. The original post asked viewers to decide for themselves whether it was a rake, a skinwalker, a wendigo, or something else entirely. Siamese soldier. Along the Thai-Cambodian border, villagers had been reporting strange disturbances for weeks after several soldiers passed away and left behind. A security camera mounted outside a home captured what people in the area believed to be the ghost of one of those soldiers. A dark figure in tattered clothing moved across the dirt road at an unnatural pace, pausing briefly before disappearing into the tree line. The local dogs reacted immediately, scattering in every direction. Two-faced creeper. It was past 1 in the morning in Surabaya, Indonesia, when a doorbell camera picked up an elderly man standing at the gate of a home in Rungkut. He was just staring into the lens and then started talking. He slowly turned around, and that's when it got hard to explain, because there was another face at the back of his head. The footage cut off right after that, and nobody in the neighborhood ever recognized him. Arm-crawling humanoid. Just before midnight on November 11th, 2025, a security camera on a farm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, recorded something shocking. Two dogs were minding their own business near a trailer in the yard when a pale, thin figure appeared at the back of the property by the fence line. The close-up frames showed something deeply unsettling. a hunched creature with long limbs and a large rounded head moving low to the ground. It ran straight past the dogs, and they scattered immediately. The creature, now called an alien, ran in the direction of the farmhouse, but the owner didn't find anything. Head on back. A man filming from his second-floor window noticed someone standing completely still across the street and pointed his camera at them. What he captured made him drop everything and run. The figure was facing him directly, but where the head should have been, there was nothing, just empty space above the shoulders. Then it turned around, and that's when things got worse. The head was attached to the middle of its back, facing outward. The figure just stood there in the street as the man filming scrambled away from the window. Dark humanoid. Something triggered the motion sensor outside a home in Baton Rouge, Louisiana late one night, and when the flash went off, it caught something crouched beside the bin that had no business being there. A pale white face snapped toward the camera the moment the light hit it, like it knew instantly it had been seen. It was down on all fours, humanoid in shape, but moving nothing like a person, and as soon as that flash went off, it scrambled backward and disappeared into the dark within seconds. Smoky humanoid. A security camera picked up a white, smoky figure approaching a wooden gate at the edge of a property late at night. What made this one hard to dismiss was what happened next. Instead of stopping at the gate or opening it, the figure walked straight through the solid wood without slowing down at all. It left a faint, smoky trail behind it as it moved, like vapor hanging in the air after it passed. The silhouette was clearly human in shape, and it moved with a normal walking gait, upright and steady. But it wasn't a human, nor was this a camera glitch. Angry cryptid. A CCTV camera covering a garage recorded a small, bald creature crawling across the pavement on all fours. It was roughly child-sized, but the resemblance stopped there. The close-up frames revealed a pale, hairless body with a large, rounded head, sunken facial features, and clawed hands that it used to tear at a poster fixed to the wall. The skin looked almost rubbery and gray under the camera light. After ripping at the poster, it turned toward the camera and crawled directly at it before vanishing from the frame entirely. Living room ghost. April 15th, 2025 at 12:42 a.m., and the living room camera inside the home of TikTok user Miss Kitty Carey, 81, was still running while everyone slept. The footage showed a dark figure emerging near the kitchen and moving across the living room toward her son's bedroom. The pets in the room were completely frozen. Every single one of them locked onto the same spot, tracking it. The figure made it halfway across the room before it simply faded out and disappeared. Her son's door was closed when she checked, and no one else was inside. Giant Shadows, Mexico. Street-level CCTV footage from Guadalajara, Mexico, captured something that stopped people mid-scroll when it started circulating online. A group of large, dark shadow figures materialized in the middle of the road, completely out of nowhere. What made them stand out beyond just being shadows was their size. They were really tall as they moved through the street together. They walked in a loose group for several seconds before fading out just as suddenly as they had appeared. Reptilian humanoids. This security camera footage showed two figures walking along what appeared to be a public area. From far away, they looked like two ordinary people walking side by side, one in a dark jacket and one in a gray shirt. But when the footage was slowed down and zoomed in, viewers pointed to the facial features as the giveaway. The skin on both figures had an unusual texture, and the facial structure, particularly around the eyes and jaw, looked angular and non-human in a way that was hard to explain away as poor camera quality. Spirit enters home. On 16th of January, 2023, a couple's Eufy security camera recorded something they weren't expecting. Just after 10 at night, the woman stepped outside barefoot after hearing what sounded like someone trying to get into their car in the driveway. While her attention was on the vehicle, something else was happening behind her. A faint white shape drifted in from the left side of the frame and moved straight through the front of the house. This ghost entered her home, but she had no idea what had happened until they reviewed the footage later that night. Grandma's final visit. Home security footage from the Philippines, time-stamped May 10th, 2025, caught something that shook one family pretty badly. The homeowner's grandmother had recently passed away and had lived in that house for years. At 3 in the afternoon, with nobody near it, an appliance in the top right corner of the kitchen suddenly gets thrown around and completely destroyed. The homeowner came running after hearing the banging, only to find the damage already done. Whether it was a farewell or something else entirely, the family believed Grandma had come back one last time. But why was she so angry? Comment your theories down below. Mysterious porch visitor. A doorbell camera on a porch somewhere in the United States captured something that had the internet completely divided. It was a windy night, but someone was tucked just behind one of the lower pots, a face, small, dark, and distinctly humanoid, staring outward from behind the leaves. It wasn't an animal, because the eyes looked too human. Although an uncanny valley, this mysterious figure kept staring inside through the window. This still remains unexplained. Possible alien sighting. Security camera footage, time-stamped at 11:08 p.m., picked up something small and pale moving around outside what looked like a rural property at night. The figure appeared on 2 separate parts of the split-screen footage, once near the porch area and again further down near the tree line. It stood upright, moved slowly, and had a slender build with a distinctly large head. The original post asked viewers to watch the full video and draw their own conclusions, and people had plenty of them, with most being convinced it was an alien or a humanoid cryptid at the very least. Pale humanoid. A backyard camera in Tucson, Arizona picked up something deeply unsettling moving through the trees late one night. A pale, slim humanoid figure was moving around the perimeter of the yard, weaving between the bushes and at one point dropping down to crawl across the ground. What made it worse were the eyes, 2 faint glowing points cutting through the darkness. The homeowner was inside the entire time, completely unaware they were being watched. The figure was noticeably large, but unnervingly thin, and it never once moved like anything human. Phantom Horseman. On February 8, 2023, in rural Vietnam, a farmer's CCTV caught one of his cows in the middle of the road, which wasn't unusual. But what came next was a man on horseback appeared, moving at a steady pace down the road, except both the rider and the horse were completely transparent. You could see straight through them. They crossed right past the cow without a sound, and within seconds, both of them dissolved into nothing. The cow just stood there like it hadn't seen a thing. Ghost Whispers. It was 10:30 p.m. in Portland, Oregon, when a woman was outside in her backyard playing with her dog. As she threw a ball for her dog to fetch, she heard a whisper right next to her ear. She caught it on camera, and when the audio was cleaned up, investigators confirmed it was an EVP recording, a disembodied voice with no explainable source. Her dog also looks like it sensed a presence near her. What do you think? Comment below. Crawling Stranger. TikTok user Little Miss Bella 3 had just stepped out of her car when she heard it. a slow and deliberate hello coming from across the street. When she looked over, what she saw made her stop completely. A figure wearing what looked like a headlamp was moving around on all fours on the other side of the road, shifting positions with uneven animal-like movements that made no sense for a person. It went on for several seconds, and the harder she watched, the worse it got. It looked like something trying very hard to pass as human and not quite managing it. Mysterious cryptid. Late on January 29th, 2017, just after 11 p.m., a man and his dog heard strange noises coming from the backyard. He went out to check and found nothing. When he pulled up his security camera footage the next day, the answer was right there on the screen. A humanoid figure with visibly glowing eyes sprinted across the yard at speed and then disappeared completely. In the bottom left corner of the frame, his dog could be seen watching the creature run past. The figure was large, bipedal, and covered with fur. So it wasn't a human being, and no animal can walk like that. So what was it? Comment your answers below. Real ghost footage. Paranormal investigators visiting a plantation in Patterson, Louisiana, had heard the stories about a ghost nurse haunting the property, so they wired the entire house with cameras. What one of those cameras caught has since been called the best ghost footage ever posted to Reddit. A figure in a long white dress appeared in the living room, moving slowly past the sofa before drifting toward the doorway and vanishing. The shape, the length of the dress, the way it moved, all of it matched exactly what previous residents had described seeing in that house for years. Shed breacher. The motion sensor on a backyard camera in rural Kentucky triggered late one night, and what it recorded had the homeowner too afraid to go outside until morning. A pale humanoid figure had broken through the side of the shed and was crouching in the yard, its eyes catching the camera's infrared flash with a sharp, reflective glow. It stayed completely still for several seconds, seemingly aware of the camera, before retreating back through the tree line behind the shed. The shed wall had been pushed through from the inside, but homeowners found no tracks inside the shed. So what happened? Comment below. Disembodied legs. The German Shepherd in this footage knew something was wrong before the camera even picked it up. It was already at the edge of the porch, barking into the dark, when the footage revealed what had spooked it. A pair of legs, dark and shadow, like with no upper body attached, came running along the left side of the house at full speed before disappearing out of frame. The dog tracked every step of it from behind the fence, barking the entire time. Whatever those legs belonged to, the top half of it simply did not exist on camera. Black-eyed humanoid. A neighbor shared this doorbell footage without much explanation, just a note saying to look closely at the door frame. On first watch, it looks like a Halloween decoration hanging near the entrance, but then something behind the door shifts. A dark, round face with a single, visible eye slowly peers around the frame, holds there for a moment, then pulls back. This humanoid creature was caught in Gallup, New Mexico 2 years ago. The neighbor said nobody had been on that porch that night, and the homeowner had no idea it had even happened until they checked the footage. Shadow possession. A man was alone by his pool late at night, cleaning it when something in the footage made people watching online genuinely uncomfortable. A tall, dark shadow figure approached him from the left after mysteriously materializing. Then, at the 7-second mark, it appeared to merge directly into his body. What happened next is what spread this clip everywhere. He immediately stopped what he was doing, stood completely still for a moment, and then his whole demeanor changed. A woman, probably his wife, ran towards him, and the way he interacted with her afterwards shocked her. He didn't behave normal at all, but surprisingly, he was fine. Kentucky ghost. A couple in Kentucky pulled up their driveway CCTV footage on October 3rd, 2017, and could not make sense of what they were seeing. A man in army fatigues and black shoes was walking casually across their driveway when his body started fizzling out mid-stride, becoming less and less visible until he was completely gone. The camera had a clear view down the entire street, and he never reappeared further along it. He wasn't walking out of frame. He was dissolving while still moving. Nobody in the area matched his description, and he was never identified. Smoke jumpers. A bunch of white figures were caught running outside of a house in December of 2014. Their shapes were vaguely humanoid, but shifted like vapor as they ran, and one by one, each of them cleared the fence in a single jump. The moment they hit the ground on the other side, every single one of them dissolved into nothing. No footprints, no further movement picked up by the camera, and no explanation was ever offered for what those figures actually were. Pumpkin Ripper. A security camera in Jacksonville, Florida, picked up something unsettling on the night of October 6th, 2016. A figure in a full white clown suit and painted mask showed up on someone's front porch carrying balloons, which was strange enough on its own. Then, something seemed to set it off. It dropped the balloons, grabbed a pumpkin from the porch, and started tearing it apart with its bare hands. After several unnerving minutes, it just walked away into the dark. Mysterious dark humanoid. Security camera footage circulating on social media showed a woman bolting straight into her house after spotting something crossing the street outside her home in Brazil. The video was blurry, but what people kept pausing on was the figure itself. It moved in a humanoid way, but appeared to be covered in feathers or fur across its entire body. It never looked at her, never acknowledged she was there. The detail that really got people talking was the feet, which appeared elongated and pointed, like nothing quite human. Since the footage is blurry and short in duration, much cannot be said. Dogs chase entity. Security camera footage from a residential driveway, believed to have been filmed somewhere in the American South, captured something strange on August 31st, 2024. A white family dog watched from the porch as two stray dogs in the driveway began chasing what appeared to be a translucent humanoid figure. The thing moved by hopping or jumping rather than running, which already looked wrong. Then it simply vanished mid-chase. The stray dogs stopped in their tracks the moment it disappeared, like whatever they were following had just ceased to exist. Backyard phantom. A homeowner in Riverside, California woke up at exactly 3:33 in the morning with an unexplainable urge to check their Ring camera, and what they found on the footage stopped them cold. A translucent humanoid figure was moving slowly across the backyard, its shape clearly visible, but see-through enough that you could make out the wooden fence right behind it. Without slowing down, it walked straight through the fence without breaking a single plank. No motion alarms had gone off, no neighbors reported anything, and the figure never appeared on camera again. Ghost Rider. A backdoor Ring camera in Springfield, Illinois recorded something worth a second look on February 10th last year. At around 4:30 a.m., a bicycle leaning against the garage wall started rocking back and forth on its own before falling over onto the ground. The homeowner who posted it said nobody had been outside that night, and the motion sensor had only just triggered when the bicycle started moving. Family of ghosts. A building's CCTV camera somewhere in India captured one of the stranger clips to come out of the subcontinent in recent years. A man in a white shirt was completely unaware of what was moving just behind him. A group of white, smoky figures, described by viewers as an entire family, emerged from one of the houses and drifted straight into the wall on the opposite side. They passed right behind the man, meaning he either didn't hear anything or felt their presence, but chose to ignore. Translucent walker. Footage that spread quickly online showed what appeared to be a translucent humanoid figure walking down an ordinary street at night. The figure had a visible shape and moved like a person, but you could see straight through it, the surroundings showing faintly through its body as it walked. A closer crop of the footage showed what looked like a face, pale and featureless. No location was confirmed with the original post, which only made it more mysterious. Some viewers were convinced it was a genuine apparition, while others pointed to a glitch as the more likely explanation. Are those children? Security camera footage captured late at night on a completely empty street in Mexico showed a small dark figure moving across the road in a way that immediately raised questions. The figure was short, roughly child-sized, but moved with an odd, jerky gait that didn't sit right with anyone watching. The street was deserted, no adults nearby, no other movement anywhere in the frame. The original Spanish caption asked the same question viewers were already thinking. Was this a child ghost or something else using that shape? Help me out in the comment section below. Shadow behind guards. 2 security guards went to check on an area after hearing unexplained noises, walked the space thoroughly, and found nobody there. When they reviewed the CCTV footage afterward, a dark, human-shaped silhouette was standing directly behind them the entire time. The figure was solid enough to show clearly on camera, dark and distinctly shaped against the background. Both guards confirmed they felt an unusual chill pass through them while standing in that exact spot, despite it being summer. Whatever was behind them, it remained completely invisible to them, while the camera caught every second of it. Translucent dark figure. Instagram user Versatile Speed received a motion alert on his Ring camera at 7 in the morning on October 15th last year and pulled up the footage, expecting to find an animal or a neighbor. What the camera caught instead was a dark, shadowy figure moving briskly down the road outside his home. Its feet were clearly visible and moved like a normal person walking, but everything above that was translucent, the background showing straight through its body as it moved. The fact that this was the only video of its kind on his entire account made a lot of viewers take it far more seriously than they otherwise would have. Ghostly follower. In a small town in Mexico, 2 friends were out for a late-night walk, and everything seemed peaceful until one of the CCTV captured something they never noticed. Just a few steps behind them was a pale figure, moving quietly in the dark. Its size and movement resembled that of a child, yet it didn't behave like one. These friends kept on walking, unaware they weren't truly alone. This footage was allegedly released by a former security guard who was fired by the building owner, because a ghost near the area would make people want to leave, and others won't buy apartments there. And it's hard to ignore the unsettling thought that something was following them the entire time. Open discussion. A game camera set up deep in the forests of Montana captured something on the night of April 22nd, 2026 that immediately got the Bigfoot community talking. The footage showed a large, dark, humanoid shape standing among the trees, broad across the shoulders and clearly upright on 2 legs. 2 small points of light reflected back from what appeared to be the figure's eyes. The shape was massive compared to the surrounding tree line, which ruled out most animals in the region. No follow-up investigation confirmed what it was, but Montana has a long history of Bigfoot sightings stretching back decades,